Welcome to Grow It Anyway, where imperfect gardens still grow. If your plants don't look Pinterest perfect, you're in the right place. So come on, let's grow it anyway together. My onions. This was sown. I didn't put the date on it. This was sown a long time ago. I should have onions. I don't. Bad seeds. Did I not have sterilized seed starter? Was it too hot? Was it too dry? Did I smother them in water? I don't know. I did everything I knew to do, and some of them came up. Some of them didn't. And I'm okay with that. So what is amazing about growing is that I get to take this one little survivor, pop him out, take the rest of this, dump it out, and I get to start again. Full of possibilities.
For starting seeds, I usually make my own seed mix. It's just cheaper since I'm dealing with volume this year. So it's a pretty easy recipe. It's just 1 part vermiculite, 1 part compost, and 1 part coco coir. This ensures that your seeds are draining and not just rotting in water. It also holds moisture. That's what the coco coir's job is. And you can use peat moss in lieu of that. And then the compost is your medium that's going to give you some nutrients once those seeds sprout. Again, this is, you can just make it easier on yourself and go buy some seed mix. The next thing I'm going to do is I am taking my little sieve here. It's about a 1/4 inch sieve, and I am just sieving out and shaking out all of those big chunks and particles, because what you don't want is your seeds to be sitting under a chunk of compost that would keep it or impede it from coming up. And so what I'll do is I'll take those big chunks and I'll just throw them in my compost bin, or I will simply just use them in a potting mix. So got my my seed mix ready to go. And normally what I do is I will water everything before I put them and before I sift them. I didn't do that this time, so I'm just retroactively doing that. I don't recommend it you do it this way. I'm making it a little too moist here, but I'm going to put some dryer on top. So now we're ready to plant. So it's time to start our seeds. This onion that I am sowing is a white onion from Botanical Interest. It is a Gladstone onion. I've never tried these before, so I'm super excited to try them. They are supposed to grow very well in my area. I need to remind you to, if you don't know what to do, all of that information is on the back of your seed packet. How many days till germination, what the depth is. So this one is just going to be about a 1/4 inch. So I'm just making a little pocket with my finger. You don't need any fancy tools, but you don't want to get your seeds in too deep or they have problems germinating. That one, it did not have enough soil in it, and so I'm putting some more soil, because if I would have just went ahead and said, forget it, I'm just going to throw them in there, then it probably would have been too deep. Please tell me I am not the only human being that has struggles with opening seed packets, especially like me. I have no nails because I break them and I'm using my hands so much and don't wear gloves that I don't have nails. So if you take a look at your seeds, I like to just get them in my hand and just take a look at them. These are pretty tiny seeds. So I'm going to overseed each of these cells. Why do I do that? Just to ensure good germination. They don't really need a lot of space as seedlings. So I'm going to just go ahead and put about 3 to 4 seeds in each one. And you know what? If an extra falls in, it's okay. We're going to grow it anyway. So get your seeds in there, appropriate depth. You want to have, appropriate, you don't want to do it in just dry mix. You want some good moisture. And yeah, we're just going to cover these over with the already sifted soil or seed starting mix, or I'm just going in here, I'm doing a little experiment with this tray, and I'm just doing some coco coir on top. It's been pretty dry and cold, and I'm like, you know what, I wonder if I can just use one of my ingredients instead of using the rest of this mix. So I put the coco coir on top. Hindsight, now that I've tried this, I've never done this before, I had no problems with the seeds coming up. What I do have problems with those, because coco coir tends to be pretty dark, is when the soil is light on top, I know that it needs to be watered. Whenever it's dark, like the coco coir is, it's kind of hard. I have to really touch it and make sure it needs watered, so to ensure that I don't overwater it. Now what I'm doing is I'm just pressing the coco coir down and making sure, whatever you use, just making sure that the soil on top has good contact with the seed. It needs to have that contact, to have that moisture, to ensure good germination. Just fill in those little holes, and you should be ready to go. One of the most important things whenever you're starting any kind of seed is don't bet on remembering what's in that tray. I have a couple of trays that I just, either the tag fell out or I forgot to put it in there and have no idea. We have, you know, the mystery cells. But these, I'm going to put the type of vegetable on there and the variety, and then I'm going to put the date. I also like to put how many days to germination. I can't tell you how many times I've thrown out parsley or celery because it's been a couple of weeks and nothing is happening. That's because it takes 30 days. So if I know that something takes 10 days to germinate and it's been 30 days, probably need to start over if they haven't popped up, or I need to kind of figure out what I've done wrong, so to ensure that I don't do it that way the next time. It's a pretty easy task. It's one that's easy to forget, but very, very necessary. And then what I'll do next is I'll just make sure that these are evenly watered, and I'm going to put them under a grow light. And you can see in the background, you know, I've got my trays. I'll make sure that they have trays to sit on under that grow light. And look, those are the exact ones that we planted, and 17 days later we've got good 2 to 3 inches. So thanks for joining me today, and let's just go grow it anyway.